What's up, guys? I wanted to talk to you today about this idea I've had recently of becoming a narrative counter-insurgent. So, like it or not, we are in an era of intense information and psychological warfare. Really, it's intensified over the last 4 to 6 years in response to President Trump coming to power and our movement growing in power and influence. And you really see that the other side is fully engaged in this war, and they understand and recognize that it is a war. And really, only us on the front lines of the MAGA movement have accepted the reality that this is a war for control of America. If you control the narrative, you control people, you control the levers of power. And for so long, the ruling class had easy control of the narrative because information was so restricted. There were only three, major news networks, and then there was cable news. And when you look at cable news, yeah, there's Fox News, but Fox News is controlled opposition. That's becoming more and more clear every day. It really started to hit off towards the end of the Trump administration when you see that they align with the likes of Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, way more than they did us. Really, Tucker Carlson is the last one that's left at Fox News that has any sense of what's really going on in the world. And even he is muzzled to some extent, I believe. But this idea of narrative warfare is so important because, like I said, if you control the narrative, you control everything. And that's why these big tech companies have joined teams with the deep state government ruling class to silence dissent and crack down on popular conservative thought. What used to be kind of milquetoast conservatism is now almost outlawed online. They kicked a sitting president of the United States off of all these tech platforms because they understand just how influential and how important narrative is. And President Trump was one of the few that's been able to hijack narratives away from the deep state. So that's why he was so dangerous, and that's why we're so dangerous. And that's why you see the censorship started with people like Laura Loomer and Alex Jones, but it's expanded pretty rapidly to a sitting president of the United States. And now they're kind of coming for everyone. I mean, look at the way they're painting the picture of January 6th as this insurrection so they can label us all domestic terrorists and kick us even further offline. So as we go forward, I just want you guys to think about this. The current landscape is a war. And, we can say that that's hyperbole and we're exaggerating, but the left doesn't think that that's an exaggeration. They are trying to hide the fact that they are at open war with you so you don't take them seriously. But we have to become narrative counterinsurgents. And, what do insurgents do? They kind of use the weaknesses of the ruling class against them. They look for ways to improvise, overcome, and adapt to the situation on the ground. So that's why, we're on Substack, we're on Twitter. Twitter's not a safe space, but I'm starting to look at Gab and Parler and these other platforms because, we have to diversify and spread out and continue to try to reach new people. The last thing we need to do is become complacent. And one big portion of psychological warfare, if you read about it or study about it, is they are trying to discourage you. They know that if they can discourage you, then they can silence you, and they are looking to use your apathy as a way to get over on you and to control you. So when you become apathetic and say, well, the game is rigged, there's nothing I can do. Sure, the game is rigged, but there's still stuff that we can do. It might be a long game, but the only other option is to give up. And they are banking on us giving up. We can't face a little opposition and then disappear. It was never going to be an easy fight. It was always going to take more than 4 years. It's going to take 10 years. It's going to take 20 years. There is no time in anyone's lifetime where you can stop fighting for these principles, stop fighting for the things that we believe in. So I just want to encourage you to know that this is a season of warfare, but as long as you recognize that and engage in that war, we can become narrative counterinsurgents and we can take the power back. So I would encourage you to engage, re-engage, stay engaged, don't give up. Join us on Substack, magaunderground.substack.com. and we will be out there on the front lines fighting the war with you.